So, some are wondering what might be going on today on October 28, 2024, Monday. And following up on my previous video where I had my 7-year review of my Ram 3500, I did say that when I did its next oil change, which I did it exactly 124,000 miles, dead even actually, I was going to cut into this filter, make a video of it, and here's the oil filter cutting tool I am going to use. Now, some will say this is the Longacre 52-77750, and I'm here to tell you it's not. However, if you go to Amazon and you punch in 52-77750, you of course get the Amazon knockoff. So this is my first time using it. I tried putting some 3-in-1 in the threads. Thread still sees up, but you know, that is your Chinese knockoff quality right there. But hey, if there's good news in this filter, you know, no funny business. When's the next time I'm ever going to use this? So this was cheap enough. Now, if you're someone like, oh, I don't know, Dave's Auto Center, who's rebuilding engines and diagnosing engines every day for a living, doing what I'm about to do almost every day for a living, obviously this is not the tool, or at least not this particular one. This really is one of those tools that it's amazing what you can spend on these. So sky's pretty much the limit, each to their needs and their budgets, I suppose. Now, one thing I already did try was mounting it vertically in a 2x4, so that way I could put the tool on the vise. But the problem is the screw heads were popping up just so, and that would have kept the oil filter from rolling smoothly on this cutting wheel that I can not even turn my finger. So this is why I have the filter on the vise, and I'm going to position this like so. And obviously you just get it snug first right here. You don't want to jam down it because you can cause a flat spot on the wheel. This is almost like using a tubing cutter. So get it started like so first. And then we're going to start turning. Yeah, it's hard for me to manage the camera at the same time, but I can already see the crease mark is leaving, which is good. So again, this is almost like using a tubing cutter. You keep turning and turning. I'm going to do this all in real time. So far it's faring okay for what I'm doing with it. And the other advantage of doing it this way is with the filter facing upwards, we won't have any surprise oil spilling outwards. And like I said before, there are some higher end models that already have that perpendicular flange so you can mount it in a vise like so, and then use like an oil filter wrench to spin the oil filter. But this will do. Well, it's about a quarter turn here, turn, spin, spin, turn, spin, spin. Oh, hey, we're on something here. Alrighty then. Oh, check that out. Alright. Nice. Well, that did the job quite nicely. Now, like I said, if I was a shot that's doing something like this every day for a living, how well would this fare? For everyday use, I don't know. And as we're about to pull this filter apart, again, if there's any good news, this is probably going to sit in the bottom of my toolbox for the next 10 or so years. So let's first start with, this is the section I just cut off. You see nice and cleanly. And the other reason you want to use a proper oil filter tool, even if it's a cheap-ass one like the one I use, if you try to cut with a Sawzall or a grinder, well, those shavings can get in that filter, and now you created a gray area. Was that from cutting the filter, or those are the actual engine shavings? And that's something I maybe should have pointed out in the beginning of the video, but oh well. Never claim to be a pro here, or at least when it comes to filming stuff like this. But anyhow, here it is. Here's what was left. And we're about to see, and those other videos of people dissecting this particular filter, the Mopar MO-339. Here's your anti-drain back valve. Oh, look at that. And good thing I took it apart the way I did, because oh, there is some oil, and good thing I put this rag here. Let me zoom out a little more. Okay, I'm splaying apart the pleats. Yeah, it's nice solid metal core. Let me see if I can get a little more close up for you guys. So here we are again. This is the spring over here I just took out from the bottom of this. But as you look into here, no, this looks very well. No glitter, no sparkles. Yeah, there was a bit of the brownish. Don't worry, that's from the flush that I ran before I started the oil change, and maybe I should have put a rag under here. But here's your filter element right here. Feels very solid. This is actually all metal. I can't say whether or not this is made of silicone, but the Royal Purple 10-48 that is meant to go in place of this Mopar MO-339, I know is definitely made of silicone. And I gotta say, even the filter medium is like very tough, very high quality. I think it's semi-synthetic. I don't know if it's full synthetic like the Royal Purple filters. Again, it's kind of hard for me to hold the camera and do this at the same time, so do bear with me here. But as I'm looking between the pleats, no metal, no nothing. Maybe little sludge particles here and there, which is good. That means this filter is doing its job. And that AMS oil is a quality oil, and more importantly, the flush is doing its job. So even though I'm hearing the engine making some noises from its valve train, at least this test here is showing me that we're not in trouble. At least I don't think we are now. Again, I can't cut this at the same time I hold the camera, so give me just a second here. I think I'm going to cut this and pull the paper out, spread it out, see if I find any glitter or sparkles here. Yeah, it took me a little bit. And no, that was me trying to crush the filter with the vise. But I ultimately just started cutting it with a utility knife. Very strong core indeed. So, goes to show that these O.E.M Mopar filters, or at least the spin-on ones, the Mopar MO-339 is a really good filter. And then someone like the Royal Purple 10-48, which goes in place of this filter, tries to exceed them. That's currently what I'm running right now in my truck because that's what I have in inventory. So, yeah, here's the element all laid out here. Yeah, no shavings, no metal, nothing of any concern. So it just goes to show how good this motor is. Now, just because you don't see anything here doesn't necessarily mean there's still no trouble. That's why come the next oil change, I'm going to send an oil sample out to Blackstone Labs and see what they got to say. So, yeah, nothing bad on the macroscopic scale here. Nothing of any real concern. Just a filter that did its job. And the extra layer of safety and protection I'm doing for this motor too. I will do the next oil change at 130,000 miles. This will be the last interval that goes 6,000 miles. After that, I intend to knock the interval down to 5,000 miles. So, that's next on the agenda. This was kind of neat that I got to do this. This is my first time cutting open a spin-on style oil filter and seeing how well a cheap-ass tool from Amazon works. And, well, looks like it did what it had to do for me tonight. But, yeah, this is very cool to know that the O.E. quality Mopar filters are actually good filters, and that's what I'm going to stick with after I use up those few Royal Purples I have in inventory. But yeah, I'm just going to stick with what worked. Clearly, this is what's been working for this motor for the 7 years and 124,000 miles that I've had this truck. So, I'm going to stick with my AMS oil or Pennzoil and use my stock Mopar MO-339. Hopefully this was helpful to anyone who was wondering. As always, any and all input is greatly appreciated. Have a great evening. Be safe out there, and don't be a stranger.